What if growing and succeeding more than ever brings you the most pain? I'm talking about growing pains. I was just talking to one of my most financially and worldly, culturally successful clients, and we were talking about how this past year, with everything that she's done and the work that we've been doing together, has been a banner year for her, bringing her to the top of her industry, bringing her checking off a bunch of the goals that she has always wanted to do to rise to the top of her everything, of her creative expression, of her relational awareness, and of money and worldly renown. And at the same time, she's landing here in January at the beginning of a new cycle, and she realizes that her success has also brought so much growing pains. In other words, people that she's relied on as friends for a long time, jealousy can come up for them. Her old patterns of feeling not quite good enough or feeling like she has to work really hard, they're getting really challenged because now she doesn't have to work as hard and she has no shame. It's funny to think that sometimes the inner world suffers and struggles with success, because when you do finally meet those outer goals you've been striving for, you're left without the excuses and the stories. It becomes so obvious that the inner excuses and the inner stories are just not true. It's even common to grieve your old victimhood stories or your old negative relationship patterns. We can actually grieve for who we were before. Sometimes you might step into a whole new realm of self-realization and then grieve that you didn't do it earlier. Have you had that experience? Like you finally expand beyond some old limiting pattern and you want to celebrate, but actually what you feel is grief because you feel like you should have done it earlier and you grieve the lost time. In my experience, there's one solution for all of this. There's only the one solution for most things. And that is to take a breath and to see things from your soul's perspective. And that's what we did. That's what I did with this incredible client of mine as we stepped back for a minute and I said, okay, but wait. So you're feeling grief. You're feeling the loss of the relationships you thought you had with people who are actually not ready for you. And when you step back and you look with your soul's eye, when you look with the perspective of your guides, when you take a moment to really step back far enough to recognize that this lifetime has been a series of lessons and chapters where you've learned so much with every single failure and every single success. Then you can begin to remember and to acknowledge the many victories, the accomplishments, not just of your ego and your career and your money, which are great ones, but also the soul success for having survived what you've survived, the soul success of having learned the lessons from those kind of tweaked relationships that you're now letting go of, the soul success of that. And you can even, with your soul's view, with your soul's vision, with a soul perspective, step back and feel that even though you're changing shape of a relationship with someone in your life, that your two souls are rejoicing, because your two souls, not necessarily the personalities, but the souls, recognize, wow, we contracted to be in relationship for this lesson and we completed it successfully. And your souls are like high-fiving. Does that make sense? When it seems like you're losing, even when you're winning. When it seems like the growth pains of growing are just too much. When it seems like even though you've met your goals and you've done what you set out to do, you're no farther ahead than you've ever been. Just take a breath, step backwards, and look at it with your soul's eye view. Recognize the deeper lessons you've learned, even through the rough stuff. Recognize the chapter that's completing. Recognize the foundation you've set for this next hopeful chapter that's just beginning in the new year. So, I learned so much from working as an intuitive and executive coach with my brilliant, creative, world-renowned, fantastic clients that I just had to share this one because I see it real often with my clients who come with certain goals and then meet them faster than they thought they could because we get everything out of the way and we leverage their guides. And even then there is a struggle and a lesson to learn as to how to allow that success, how to celebrate it, even as you go through the growing pains. Thanks for listening.